Today we'll be covering percent change. The formula for percent change is to find the change and divide by the original. Now in math, change always means you are going to subtract. So keep that in mind anytime you hear the word change, we're talking about subtraction. So step one, you need to decide if your problem is an increase or a decrease. By simply determining whether your numbers go up or if they go down. Step two, you'll find the amount of change by subtracting the bigger number minus the smaller number. For this step, it doesn't matter which one came first in your problem, you're always going to subtract bigger minus smaller. Step three, you're going to divide the amount of change or the answer to your subtraction by the original amount. In this case, it does matter which one comes first in your problem. And step four, you'll round to the hundredths place and change your decimal to a percent just by moving your decimal point over 2 places. We have 2 example problems. In the first one, we have $52 to $64. So the first thing that I need to do is determine if it's an increase or a decrease. Well, if I did have 52, now I have 64, that's a percent increase. Then you're going to subtract. 52 comes first in the problem, but that doesn't matter when you're subtracting. You just want to find the total difference between the two. So it makes it easier to subtract if you start with your bigger number. 64 minus 52. 64 minus 52 is 12. You carry the 12 down, that becomes your numerator, and you're dividing by your original amount. Keep in mind that here the order of your numbers does matter. The 52 came first, so 52 was the original amount. This is when you would break out your handy dandy calculator to do 12 divided by 52, and you get 0.2307692, and I'm sure that keeps going on and on and on, but for what we are doing, you only need to round to the hundredth place. So to round to the hundredths, that's the 3. I look at the 0. 5 and above, give it a shove. 4 below, let it go. So since it's a 0, we leave it at 0.23. From there, I just change my percent of 0.23 into my decimal into a percent by moving my decimal point over 2 spaces. So that is 23%. And one thing that students tend to forget that's why we have this other blank over here, is you need to tell whether it was an increase or a decrease. We did that at the beginning, but it's also part of your answer. So it is a 23% increase. Let's do another example. This time, there's a few more spaces for you to fill in. Pause the video if you need to. You have $80 to $64. The first thing you're going to do is determine if it is an increase or a decrease. Well, if you had 80 and now you have 64, it's a decrease. The next thing you're going to do is determine the amount of change. Keep in mind, change always means subtraction, and you're going to subtract your bigger number minus the smaller number. So 80 minus 64. A little bit of quick math, 80 minus 64 is 16. Step 3, you're going to divide the amount of change, that's your numerator, by the original amount. Keep in mind the original amount does matter which one came first in your problem. The 80 came first, so we will divide by 80. And this is where it's helpful to break out that calculator. Again, we have 16 divided by 80 gives us 2/10. I'm going to go ahead and write that as 20 hundredths though, because in this next step, we have 20 hundredths and we're changing it into a percent. That way I don't lose that 0. I move my decimal point over 2 times, and I know that it is a 20% decrease. The last problem, your check, is all on your own. Keep in mind when you get to this bottom bar, that's whether you're telling whether it's an increase or a decrease. Go ahead, watch the video again if you need to, and check your answer.